Mr. Howlers, we're on. How you doing?
Good, you?
Good. Thanks for those just tuning in. This is the third episode of the fall season for the third period. I'm doing dual duties today. Mr. Darren's enjoying the hockey game. Thank you, Darren. I'm here with my good friend Jeff Howells.
And good to see you, Sean.
Yeah, always a pleasure. In the new studio, also the home.
We'll downgrade it to a little relaxation today. Mm-hmm. Got rid of the boys in the suits.
Yeah, exactly.
A little uptight last week, I found.
Yeah, a little tense. It was a little tense. So today we're going to be talking about the A-League, the M-League, and basically an overall review of some of the surprises and, overrated, underrated teams across the league, basically, just to give a flavor for everywhere. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Awesome. So, for guys who don't know Jeff, he's a league manager, been in the league many years. You saw him last season, one of the episodes talking about the A-League with Rayhan. And once again, I believe you're managing the Marksmen again, I think, for a second, or how many years in a row now?
This will be the third season. And it's a trying one this session. So.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, sometimes the guys, because you can't just get scrubs for spares, right? Like, that's the toughest thing with the higher up you go. You just can't call anybody to fill a missing spot, right?
Like, I can't just say, hey, let's get Sean Guerrero.
Yeah. Or Darren. We don't make the call up list for many teams. Like I'm not beating them away with a stick to say, no, guys, I can't this week. It's not something I have to contend with. But you guys are doing well. I mean, you and that GK rivalry just seems to be ever present. Like it's unbelievable tournaments.
Yeah, the A-League this year it depends on the roster, really. Who shows up for what team. I mean, it is GK and everybody else, but...
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, you're selling yourself a bit short there. Like I said, for you, it really depends who shows up that week, really. You know what I mean? That's like, you guys are smart hockey players. If there's any team who could contend with GK, it's you guys.
We had, the one time we had our roster this year, we beat them. And
was that when Gentili had like a night of his career, basically? Is that the 3-goal night? Or
Yeah, he seems to score every game, actually. So he's a guy who puts a ball in the net. But I think that GK, they just have... Just when you think you got them, you haven't got them. You find some other guy who's going to come in and produce.
Yeah. No,
Dan is the man.
We talked about him. He's one of the best managers there's out there. And for those, there's actually other teams in the A-League, believe it or not. We have a couple of other ones. It's not just two. We have the GK, Marksmen, All Blacks, Down to Puck, and Dukes and Divine. And that's actually the order of the standings right now. GK riding the top, and Dukes and Divines at the bottom winless right now, which what is it with them? I don't understand. Like, what's
they're a team from Vaudreuil. Most of the guys, they have a few of our players in their lineup, like Sophie and Tal.
Oh, like Sophie Meehan, or
yeah, Sophie Meehan.
Okay, and Tal.
A couple of veterans from our league, and any given game, they have JF Man nets.
I was going to ask, is he the goalie, the official starter? Okay.
They've struggled so far this season, but we played them to a tie. We beat them by 1 goal, and
well, it seems goal scoring is their biggest. They don't seem to have that offensive threat that evidently most of the other teams do have. At least 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah, they have a lot more grit than finish, that's for sure. But they work hard, and we had them 5-3 on Monday, and they ended up tying the game. So they don't give up. They're tenacious.
Are they like full bench? Like, are they a team that's showing up with a lot of guys, or are they having roster issues as well?
Yeah, they have a full bench. It's one of the rare teams where I look at it, I'm like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
They work hard, and defensively they're pretty responsible. But it's just like you said, the goal scoring seems to be the main issue.
Just the main issue. And when you have JF and nets, like, that is always dangerous. Like, he's so good.
I think he could be the best goalie in the league right now.
I would say so.
I mean, the stats probably don't show it, but I mean, the guy when we played them the first time,
stood in his head.
The game could have been 10 goals than any other goalie, I think.
And what I find about him, honestly, there's very few goalies in the league that when you score on, I'm thrilled. Greg Kelly, for me personally, is one that I just like scoring on because I just can't. John Vredis is another guy who I love scoring on. It, again, doesn't happen often. And JF Ome, I don't think I've ever scored on. He's just a guy that when you score, you've accomplished something. And he's unbelievable. He's so poised. They carry price for ball hockey, really.
That's what I think. So they make the playoffs. He's going to steal a game. I'm sure of it. So
yeah, I mean, they're on the outside looking in right now, but it doesn't mean they're out of it yet, right?
No, exactly.
And Down to Puck, 4th position. They're not. I mean, when you look at the standings, GK seems to be a little bit ahead of the pack, but Marksmen, All Blacks, Down to Puck, they're all neck and neck, right? When you look at the points.
Down to Puck, it seems to be their roster is really in flux. Like, 1 week to the next, you don't know who's going to be there. I mean, TJ made his return on Monday.
Really?
But
That's huge, though.
with 8 other guys against GK. So
No, you're not. Yeah, okay, that's
Didn't
not.
go- didn't go so well.
Didn't go so well. But he's back.
Yeah, he's
I was
back,
going to
so
talk about him because he's been out for a while. TJ, one of the nicest guys in the league, one of the most talented guys in the league. You know, you look at him, he's like short guy, no gloves, like no shin pads.
he looked a bit rusty on Monday.
Well, he
but
hasn't.
expected.
He hasn't played in like you. I mean, he was on Marksman. He was doing great for the summer. Marksman.
That was very unfortunate.
When did he go down? Was it midsummer? Or? He had 2
He
injuries,
hasn't
right?
played since June.
Since I mean that's expected for a guy who hasn't been that long to come in and rusty. But that's the thing with Down to Puck. I remember playing them. If they have their full roster, if like, Patuli's there, if Spruill's there, if all those.
Ryan Gore, the guy who
Okay.
played in the league up until that 11-goal outburst by GK.
Yeah.
Poor Brad.
No, exactly. And Brad he's definitely one of the top goalies in the league. I think there's some development still left for him to become John Vredis and JFMA good.
I think in the summer he played just as well as John, to tell you the truth.
Oh, really?
He really had a good summer.
Oh, we have an interruption. But no, but I mean, he has the potential. I mean, he played for me a couple seasons ago with Viella, and he was fantastic.
Yeah, I think he just needed a bit of confidence in the A, and I think he got it this summer. And I watched that game on Monday night. He gave up a lot of goals, but
Not
it's
his
like a
fault,
power
right?
play the whole
Well,
game.
that's it. Yeah. Well, if you're
I don't
tired
blame
against
Brad on
GK,
that one at all.
no, and that's. I mean, Down to Puck. If there's any team who can sustain the pressure, is them. Just because they're young, fast, and they don't quit. Right? Their speed is insane.
Well, game one they almost beat them. They were down 3-0. They came back 3-3.
Really?
And they fell apart a bit at the end. But I think the top 3 teams in this A, if you have your right roster, us and Down to Puck will give GK a run.
Well, I agree with you. I really think, sorry, that at this level, like, there's not much room to play. When you're at that high a cap, you know, you're not bringing too many surprises, right? Everyone more or less is good on these teams. You know what I mean? You're not playing in a 5-point league where you get a sneaker in and you're effective. You could be effectively a 8-9 point team. You know?
Well, Dan gets a few sneakers in, but
Yeah. It's the power of networking. You know,
Power of
like
networking.
you know, all the kids out there make friends with a lot of good players, and you
Dan,
can.
you got to get some jerseys. You're the best team. You need some jerseys, man.
He won't win the best looking team award. That's for sure. You know, like.
Well, wait till he gets that uniform. It's going to be beautiful.
Oh, they're getting some.
I think they are now because I bug him every
Oh, bug
time
him
I
ever see him? Get the strings with the marksman style. No, they're a great team. They really are. I play against like a watered down version in the B League, and it's a treat to be on the surface with like a Labonte, with the Kuzmarski, with the Simon Leclerc. Like we could go down the list of all these players. It's who's their big weapon? Would you say?
It's got to be Kevin and Labonte together. They're unbelievable. I watched them kill a penalty a couple of days ago. And you don't touch the ball when they're killing a penalty.
Sure,
and
yeah.
They're controlling the ball behind the net. And then they got Matt David.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't stop.
Who's the goalie for GK this year?
That's been a rotating door.
There's been a rotating door. Yeah, that's usually been the case for them. I've seen a couple of seasons now.
I'm not sure. There's like 4 guys who played.
It's like the Calgary Flames. They got like 3 guys that they're just.
He just could bring anybody in.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but if there's one area where
I
there's
think
some
it would be the
inconsistency.
Nets if he doesn't find a full-time goalie, that could be where they could be exposed a bit.
And that's it. I mean, and when you're playing GK in the regular season, you're right. Like when Jan and Kevin are like, you know what, today we're going to dominate. That's very few teams who can stop them. You know, but in the playoff time, it's not the same. When you play a very strict, disciplined game, they are containable with elite defensemen. But
You can't have anybody floating though.
No.
If your guys are sitting at center,
You're done.
It's going to be a goal.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's for young guys. If you ever have a chance to watch this team, I mean, if you ever the next time you play GK, would you say?
We're playing them in a few weeks actually, but they're playing All Blacks next Monday night. Which
Oh,
will be a very good game.
That could be an awesome game. That's if you want to see like the best of the best go out against each other. I would say that's one of the games that you can get a taste for how good players can be at this sport.
Probably have 7-8 members of Team Canada in that game.
You're absolutely right. You know, it's a treat to have them in the league, to have these guys competing like for an NBHL championship. It's to watch them and have a good time, and they're so clean too. That's what I love about that level of hockey. There's no real dirtiness. It's physical, but it's not like the crap that you get sometimes in the sport, right? You really got elite, skilled guys going on.
You're not seeing too much stupidity with the sticks.
No, exactly.
So, you know, you give up a penalty in the A, it's going to probably be a goal. So.
You can't afford it. It's way too risky to.
So I think that the A I think it's GK's to lose, but if we play our best game and down the puck play their best games. I don't think it'll be a walk in the park for them. That's for sure.
If I had to predict the finals, I would say you and GK would most likely be the finals, but absolutely down to puck can be a sleeper.
Yeah, I think I believe the first place gets a bye to the finals.
Yeah.
I believe that how it's working. So I think whoever plays in that 2-3 game, it could be.
It could be anybody's game. Depends who shows up. You know, and Dukes and Divine, we're kind of like, you know, disregarding them a bit because, again, their offense is just not the level they need it to be at right now.
But JF Omez.
But JF Omez, you know, at any point in time, he can just take it in a game and make a win out of it, right? No, he's impressive. Marksman, who's been the surprise for your roster? You know, I mean, you've been managing the team now, like you said, for 3 seasons. Who would you say is a guy that has stepped up? Like, you got Remo now?
We're missing a player, and I've seen Remo play in the lower levels, and I thought he was always dominated the lower levels. He's played a few games now in the A, and he's getting there.
Did he transition well? Because most guys...
First game, I said, wow, this is a different game. Like the last couple of games, he's starting to produce some points. He works hard in his own ends, which is key.
That's huge.
He's back and forth. That's what I liked about him when I watched him in the low levels. The guy scores all the goals, but he runs back. So,
which, you know, it's funny because it's not always easy to find a guy who can transition. Because Remo does play with his buddies. You know, he likes to, you know, like to have fun, and he's, you know, he adjusts his game to the level, still being the best player on the surface, usually for Deca Diamond Hawks or whatnot.
When I asked him, I figured he'd just say no because he didn't really know anyone.
Yeah.
I wanted to. It's nice. It's refreshing when a guy says yes, I want to play in the A.
It's true, and
it's too hard. This and that.
And I think it's a false impression. Yes, it's a higher level, but these guys are not Sidney Crosby playing. You know what I mean? They're regular guys. You know what I mean? They're good athletes, but they're if you can run and you have some skill, you can play. There's a bunch of
work, right?
Yes, you cannot be lazy, but you usually have to roll with like the bigger lines. You know, I imagine if you want to keep a pace of that intensity to contend with some of these better teams, like we were just talking about earlier, GK and down to puck, they can't show up with 8 guys against GK.
No, exactly.
You need at least, you know, the 8 forwards and 4 or 5 defensemen to, you know, it depends who you have in those positions to contend, you know.
But I think the strength of the marksman, we have your brother back there, Mark.
Is he playing actually? He's playing. I heard he's not that good.
And Troy Ryan, of course.
So you got my brother, Mark Guerrero, Troy Ryan.
And Brandon Runnings, the third guy.
I find him one of the most underrated guys in the league. I hate playing against Brandon. He is disciplined dad.
He's a big talker on the rink.
Oh, really? But his speed, his awareness, he's so good. I mean, I see him as a 3-point defense. I think he's a 2 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But when he plays full out, he's a 3. He is just, to me, that good.
And our other defenseman is a guy called Nick Terrien. He's
I don't know.
First year in the league.
Okay.
And the guy has a rocket slap shot, and he's adjusting pretty well playing.
Younger guy? Yeah.
He's in his mid-20s. Goes to McGill, I believe. And he's a friend of Shane Renaud.
Oh, there's another guy. He joined the squad in the summer, I think? Or how's he doing this season?
He's another guy who works hard. He hasn't got the numbers he wants. He has lots of opportunities, though, so they're going to come. So.
And then you got a guy like the Tavaroneses and Matt Marc-Andre Paulin. Like that I would say that's probably your first line, eh?
Yeah, there's a lot of depth there, though. So we got Julio as well, who's leading our team in scoring.
Oh, Julio's I would have put Tav or Paulin up there. Is it?
Well, Paulin's always in Toronto. So.
Oh, okay. He's a busy guy, right? Those high contract guys, you know, they have to.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. So, I mean, I wish you the best of luck. I mean, it's an exciting season to watch you guys battle it out. And for next Monday, guys, check it out. All Blacks and GK. All Blacks is another team just loaded with talent on that squad.
That's a team that you can't float out there either. I compare them to GK because they have Team Canada members like GK do. And
is Carl on that team? Carl and Simon Ghilarducci too.
From our league from years ago who still can play. Jeff
Pilon,
Pat Beliveau. These guys are.
Pat Beliveau's playing. Oof. Okay, yeah. That's it. They don't have the speed they once had, but the JF is just he's a
beast.
He's a beast. In front of the net, he's unpleasant to go against. That's for sure.
I remember
TJ's not going up against Pilon in front of the net.
I played him one game and he scored a hat trick on me shorthanded.
Are you serious? Jesus. Yeah, I know. He's unbelievable. And he's like the quarterback of that team. He really gets the guys together, playing together. I don't know if Eric Paquin is playing for All Blacks. He has played in the past.
He's injured. He told me. I tried to get him out a couple of games.
Oh, that's too bad.
Injuries, so.
That's too bad because he's another great
player.
I don't know if Jonathan Belzil plays for those guys sometimes or.
I haven't seen him out there this session.
Okay.
But, they played limited games. I think they're playing the last game of the series on Monday. They're trying to go 4-0.
Yeah. So, try to break that. You got to break that.
Let's go All Blacks. Yeah. We need GK to lose.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome stuff. So let's move over to the M League, a league that you're very familiar with. For those who don't know, this is our over 30 league. You have to be over 30 years old to play. It's on Thursday nights, and it's a draft league. So you can sign up as an individual, and literally they go through 10 teams worth of players and draft them in over 10 rounds, 14 rounds, and they pick guys, and you're one of the captains, I believe, of one of the teams.
This is a league where if you think you're done, you can come to this league and probably be in the better half of the players.
No, but that's it. It's much more recreational in nature.
Yeah.
You know,
but it is and it isn't.
Everyone wants to win.
Yeah,
no one goes out there saying, I don't want to win.
Unbelievably intense for a bunch of 40-plus.
Yeah. I would say the average age is probably around the 38 to 40 range, you know?
Yeah, usually the 30-year-olds, far and few between. There's a couple here, a couple there, but it's mainly, like you said, average late 30s, early 40s.
That's it. It's an effective, it's officially over 30 league, but de facto it's probably over 38.
I think our number one pick every year he's 45 years old.
Is that McGee? Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And he's won the most times. So
it just goes to show you, exactly. It's a great league. It's usually very, very tight. Yeah, because of the draft system, and there's trades that guys can do. I mean, you've done a few already yourself.
I'm the most active on the trade front. Everybody else falls in love with their guys.
No one wants to hurt anybody's feelings, I guess. Eh?
I mean, there's teams here at 1 and 4. They don't want to make a trade.
But again, you almost have to identify a trade earlier than later, because once you become 1 and 4, a team 7-0, he's not giving up anybody. Why would you? You're 7-0. Would you give up somebody?
I always like to tinker, so I didn't draft a defenseman until the 7th round.
Okay.
So when I saw my roster, I'm like, oof. We got no speed on the D, so I went out and acquired Lawrence Spivak.
Oh, that's wow.
In that league, and he's one of the younger guys in
the
league, I would imagine. And I traded away Joey Bernardo, who's usually
that's a lot of offense. Scorers. Yeah. So, so that I would say there's no losers in that trade. If the other guy can afford to give us a defenseman, he got a very good forward too.
I think that trade helped both teams, but there's some teams here that should be making trades, and there's other teams that I guess they can stand pat. Like Team Chris Monroe is 7-0.
7-0. Chris Monroe. I don't know what he did that he was able to pull that off. I mean,
we just got team names, and they're called the Hulkaholics.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And I would call them the Agitators, personally. They're a team nobody likes to play.
But they got the Monroe brothers. Obviously, Dave Monroe being Chris's first pick, but they got Charles in the third round. That's pretty big.
Yeah,
they went for goalies.
In the league,
yeah. So they went for goalies pretty quickly, and you can see the goals against is the lowest in the league. So that definitely plays a factor.
Look at the shots against. 98 and 7
that's
games.
True. Yeah, that's true. They're not giving up much. But I'm looking. They got Joe Pereira, Eric Bouchard, Eric Daniel. These are all like pretty good guys. There's not they didn't really do poorly on the draft side.
No, they did a good draft, but they're just annoying. We play them tomorrow.
And they pulled in Joel Girard Lozier, a guy for replacing Curran Clark, a big guy, but Joel a bit more speed, a bit more of an offensive disposition than FC Curran. So that was a bit of a steal for them as a replacement.
And Eric Bouchard has 11 goals.
Eric Bouchard has 11 goals. So he's not playing defense in this level.
And
okay.
their 11th round pick is like third in scoring, Chris DeVertai. So
wow. Okay.
The draft they did it looks really good at this point, but in this league, I finished first twice.
Yeah.
And you go out in the first round. It's unbelievable.
Who was it from the summer? It was a Red Dawn that was the first place team in the summer, and
they weren't there.
No,
and the last place team seems to always make it to the finals and lose.
No,
they make it to the finals.
They make it to the finals.
There's always that team at the bottom of the standings because the teams aren't that far apart.
They're not that far apart. You can have. For every league, we talked about this with the guys previously. Is who shows up. If you have some roster issues, over the course of the season, your record could be, misrepresentative of the actual team strength, and that could be a rude awakening call for a team that faces the 8th place team, taking them for granted, and then.
No, exactly. There's some teams that are real messes, but. Because you look at the draft and I'm like, what are people doing?
Well, I'm surprised AJ's team is 1-4-1. That's a bit surprising. AJ knows hockey, knows a lot of guys. Is it a draft thing? Is it a team chemistry thing? Like, what's going on with those guys?
It just seems to be that bad things follow AJ. I'm not sure. I don't know. I looked at his team. I'll be honest, I wasn't thrilled with his draft. There's some pairings in here where he draft one guy, he got 4 other guys. We make some exceptions because guys want to play together.
Yeah.
That personally isn't something I wouldn't touch. But you know what? His team went to the finals last year. They had a bad season, so
Yeah.
you just never know if he's got some good players on there. He's got Matt Baz, he's got Tasso,
He's got Tassel too.
he's got Jimmy Garral. I mean, when he's on, he's good. When he's off, he's yeah.
Yeah.
But Rob Stanfield, veteran center.
Yeah,
So he's
yeah.
got, and Craig Pierce, veteran.
Does he got George Vulumanos? Is that George V, like the George V?
No, that's one of Tasso's friends. He's pretty solid for that.
Okay.
round, too.
Okay.
So
I was
he's
gonna say if he got,
if it all can all come together, but it's like any of these teams.
well, their goaltending situation is not amazing.
I felt good for him last week. He got his first win in the Masters. Congratulations, Jay Davidson.
Super nice guy. I mean, I've seen he's spared for a team that we asked him once, and he played brilliantly. So I see him. He has games where he's amazing, and games he just struggles a
I'm
bit.
telling you, he's underrated goalie. I think he's much better than what he's just.
Where he got
He got into
drafted.
a bad situation on Team Neil last session where nobody showed up.
Well, that's it. That's
After
not,
6-7 games, they were 0-7.
yeah. That's
The season
tough.
was over. Nobody
Yeah.
cared anymore. So, but I think he can steal a game for them. He likes to play well against me.
Yeah,
We have a
yeah,
little
yeah.
rivalry for some reason for him playing against the Fury.
Yeah,
I think he
yeah,
thinks
yeah.
he's better than me, which I think he is too. Because this league is the best part about this league is whenever you're doing the draft, everybody says I'm worse than I am. Nobody wants to be in the round you put them in.
Yeah, no,
Like,
exactly.
Chris Monroe is third overall in this league. He doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Mark McGee, I'm not first overall.
Well, Mark McGee's first overall. I'm looking
Me
at
in the fourth round. That's crazy.
I mean, I'm looking at Tim Beck in the fifth. That does not make any sense to me at all. I don't know how Tim goes in the fifth. I don't know.
He's playing half the games, and he
Okay.
doesn't even play half the games because he's doing all these contracts and stuff. But
Right, okay.
He's a guy. You're right. He's going to be there in the playoffs, and he's going to be glad to have him in the fifth round.
Exactly. You'd be pleased to have him in the fifth round. That's a sleeper play. That's like, okay, just get to the playoffs, and then Tim comes in, and hopefully you're good to go there. Because I'm looking at some of these guys that are getting picked. It's a bit shocking. Like Chris Agracia, 7th round. Like,
Yeah, I actually acquired him in the deal for Lauren. So
oh really?
he's a guy who can score goals.
Yeah.
And,
His back checking is wishy washy sometimes. Like he's downhill, amazing. When he has the ball or he's rushing for an attack, but it's usually on the uphill side that it shows a bit of some weakness there.
we play them. He's playing for me tomorrow, and we're going to put him with Mike Habib, who's another great player in this league.
Where did he go? Because he's fantastic.
Well, I traded for him too, actually.
But he went in the third round. That's insane.
No,
He's
he
better
was-
than a third round
no,
guy.
He was drafted by Ole in the first, and I traded for him.
Okay, that's how
yeah.
you did it. Okay, that's why he shows up there. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that. First round, that makes sense.
Yeah, he was a first rounder. So
So you got a first rounder out of that. That's pretty sweet.
yeah, I like to wheel and deal. So
Yeah, you do.
captain's watching.
Well,
out
Chris
there.
and Vassal were talking about you being one of the best managers of the league. So this is obviously proof in the pudding, right? Like right here.
I haven't done well lately in this league, so
But what do you say it takes to win in the Masters? I mean, like when you look at Team Chris Monroe, 7-0, how?
it's these late round picks. If you can pick out guys who can play in pretty good hockey in the 9th, 10th, 11th round, you're doing all right. It's when you have disastrous back ends of the draft. Usually that's what happens with me. I've had 5 or 6 beers. I'm like,
Yeah. I'll take it. It'll be funny. I'll take Sean. That guy's hilarious.
this year I think I did a better job in the back end, but it all comes down to that. I mean, they got Chris DeVerte, who is like 3rd in the league scoring.
Yeah, in the 9th round or something like that. 11th round. That's insane.
And Eric Bouchard in the 5th with 11 goals.
This is why I don't do hockey pools anymore, because the later rounds, the more alcohol one consumes, the less intelligent the decisions tend to become. So I lose so much money from that. So I given that up. Team Mark Vick, also doing pretty well.
I mean, the
Secret sauce, just
it's the goalie. It's Steve Sharf. Every game, they don't score any goals. The leading point getter has like 6 points after like 7 games.
Steve's a good friend of mine. I love him. When he's on, he can be fantastic. Him and Charles are good friends too. They tend. I'm not shocked that they're probably 1 and 2 in terms of goalie picks. You know, probably maybe Charles and then Steve. I don't know if Steve's captaining. No, it's McGee, I guess.
Yeah, McGee.
Well, and he picked Steve in the first pick for him. That's
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guy is dominant out there. Because I look at that team, it should be a 500 team in my eyes, and they're 5-2. And last week they lost. They had like They played a Saturday, nobody there. It's one of those cases.
One of those cases, yeah, exactly. No, he's fantastic. I would love to see him and Charles face off in the finals. In the summer, they played together. They actually split the season with the team pledge. So to see them now go head to head is kind of cool for me to see. And both these guys have evolved as they got almost like wine. They've gotten better with age somehow. They've paradox
for sure. Then there's Team Cliff now. He has a pretty good offense with Dino and Joey, and he's got Ian Fuller, who's
that I love. Honestly,
he's the Masters Bobby Orr.
Yeah,
I mean, he plays on my team, doesn't score a goal. Plays in this league, he's getting 10, 11 goals. Like, what's happening here?
You know what though? I've played with him a couple of times, like recreationally, sort of like pick up games here and there, or if we're sparing for teams, and he is so good. His passing, his ability to, his vision to move up. It's very Bobby Orr-esque. Actually, is a very good analogy for him. How old is it? Is he in his 40s or late 30s?
Just turned 40. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. A guy like that, that age to be that good. It's amazing. What round did he go in? Because if he's not okay,
second round.
That makes sense.
He always goes to Team Cliff, Irwin, second round.
Well, I know that the guy like Cliff,
well.
Irwin, yeah. Well,
they always do well lately with him.
And they got Howard in nets too. Yeah. Also, can be a very, very good goalie.
Howard's had great years in the Masters over the couple.
Well, I think last summer he had won the goalie title, if I'm not mistaken, with a safe
6 or something,
with a ridiculous save percentage. Yeah, he was lights out last.
He should be going way ahead of me, by the way.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Statistically, numbers-wise, in the Masters, yes. If you look at all time and historically and winning abilities, you got to give yourself the edge there. But from last summer, which was a good Masters League, there were some darn good teams. He was unbelievable. It was, and it's not just because there's a great defense in front of him. He's shutting down people.
No, for sure.
So, who do you think is going to win here? If you had to take a pick, who do you think is going to be the?
Well, I think for the first time in a while, my team has a good chance to.
You're going there. Oh wow! All right.
Because I like the moves I made. I have the leading scorer in the league in Andre Ouellette.
Okay, yeah, Andre's very good.
Later 40s, who's a two-way monster, and he's playing with Mike, and my 5th round pick Roger Valiquette has been a diamond in the rough too.
Oh, that's huge.
And acquiring Lauren could be
that's big.
Could be what we needed.
He could shoot too. He's not just speedy. He has a decent shot when he hits the net. It doesn't always happen that way, but
I mean, I acquired him, and before I played my first game with him, someone's asking me to trade him already. So.
Are you serious? Usually the guy you play against,
at least let him have a game first.
Yeah. So you say you guys yourself, you're calling yourself right now in 4th place, calling a berth in the finals. Who else? Who do you think you're most likely to face off in the end?
I think it'd be fun if it was me against Team Eric, who has another great team with him and Tim Beck on D.
Oh, Eric Goldie, the Eric Goldie's team, yeah.
Eric Goldie's, and he's got Fitzpatrick, who usually owns me.
He owns a lot of goals. Yeah, I mean, I think he's the all-time point getter in the league. Yeah, he can score.
He doesn't have a goal yet in Masters, so I think Eric's shopping.
Are you serious? That's
and they've only lost 2 games, and he hasn't scored yet. So
that's wild. He's a guy that you need him to score. If your first overall pick for him, you gotta put something in the net there.
So I'm saying me versus Team Eric, whose name is Redemption. My team name is actually Always Bet on Black, which I'm doing.
It's a fail-safe, foolproof approach.
As long as the Monroes don't win.
Well, they're grinders. I mean, Dave and Chris, and Dave has some great skill as well. I mean, these guys can play, but they make you leave bruised.
They're agitators. And they do it well.
They do it well.
Play them tomorrow, and last time they gave us a beating 7-2. So, hopefully we turn the tide tomorrow.
And it's doable for sure.
Yeah.
Who would you say is a dark horse? A team that right now finds himself maybe in the lower half and has a potential that maybe they just haven't clicked yet, something's just missing?
That's a tough one. I think if a couple of these teams make some moves to make some roster adjustments, like Team Chris V, if he can get a defenseman on his team who can move the ball, I think he has with him in nets, he can.
Well, that's really, it with him in nets, yeah.
Really solid in nets, and he has a great first line. I think he's missing something in the back end. There's a couple of these teams. Team AJ, if maybe we can get some more consistent offense from Jimmy.
Yeah.
And Team Rob, they have a lot of offense. He's a personal friend of mine who's going through some trouble, so I wish him the best, by the way.
Was that Rob Topke?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I wish you the best, Rob.
Yeah, same here, Rob.
This. Yeah. And Team Ole, I'm not sure what's going on there. I know he's not happy with his team.
Oh no, Ole has
Ole will find a way to get.
Well, that's it.
Around.
Ole. One thing I know about Ole, he's one of the most highly competitive individuals I think I've ever had to play against. He does not take losing lightly at all.
He'll give you a little shot behind the plate.
Oh yeah. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. You know what I mean? But you respect that. Like he's so passionate about winning that it's inspiring. Like when you're playing on his team, he will go to the dirty areas to give you the ball, and that just makes you want to play better for him. You know, so I'm shocked that he's as low too. Like that's if I had to look. I mean, I wasn't shocked. Norm, no offense, Norm Plouffe.
Drafted like the softest ball hockey team.
That's it. He takes. He likes simple mind. Like-minded people. He likes to surround himself with that, right? Like, but he has the kill, if I'm not mistaken.
And he has Blair Kleiman. He has a lot of skill, but he needs a little grit in there.
Well, that's it. Against like a Dino, against the Monroes, you have to have some physicality too, or you're gonna. I mean, he's got Gary Douglas who can, go with the best of them, but it's not consistently throughout the roster.
He's like one of the grittier players.
Norm's one of the grittier guys. Oh, that's not good. The Yannick Perreault of the NBHL for sure, best face-off guy I've seen thus far, especially for his age. But no, he's not battling too hard for many balls in the corners or whatnot. All right, picks. Any sleeper picks that you saw in the draft? A guy that I'm looking at Marco Bruno in the 11th round. I'm a bit shocked by that. Donnie Delorme, solid guy too. Is there any a guy here that you're looking at and being, I can't believe he went that low?
After the fact, I have to say Chris Divertai. I'm shocked he went that low. I personally passed on him because I had my first line, and I know if you put him on the second line, he's probably not going to produce. But I was surprised he dropped that low because the guy has always scored. I think he's one of those guys, if he continued playing, he'd be in the Hall of Fame right now. Because he played a lot of games early on and scored a lot of goals.
So he has it there. So it was there. Just it hasn't.
It's kind of your typical floating winger.
Yeah.
Back check is not his game.
He's like Bernardo in like 10 years.
And
for me, who I'm going to call out here in a complimentary way is Sean Casper. I love Sean as a defenseman. Great hustle. Probably maybe not the best ball handling skills amongst all the defensemen in the league, but I don't know if he plays defense or offense in the Masters. Is he?
Yeah, he runs. That guy.
He doesn't stop.
Takes 40-second shifts, but that whole shift
it's full speed,
back forth. And he's another little agitator, He plays hard.
Yeah, he plays hard. And so for me to pick him up in the 11th round, again, not discounting Chris, because clearly Chris has an offensive prowess that Sean doesn't possess. I'm looking at him like, that's a pretty decent deal. A guy who, again, with speed being such a factor, I think, in this league.
Oh, for sure.
There's a guy with it in spades, right? Just, again, comes in short spurts.
That's another guy like Laurent Cohen, I find, is another guy in this league. He goes late in the draft, but the guy runs. He works hard. He doesn't take shifts off.
So those are the journeymen that, like, when you come to playoff time, you love having on your team. You're playing a series and you got to win a couple games and it's getting to the grind. Or if you have a mini game, those are the guys who are still pumping out intense shifts, right?
Yeah, I got this guy Pierre Carpentier in the 12th round. He's a little guy, but he just runs. So he's super fast, and you're like, I wonder how this guy go so low. But I guess maybe it's attendance. But even if you look at the 13th round, there's guys that can play hockey.
Irwin can play.
Matt Gibson can play.
Irwin can play.
Irwin can play. I mean, these guys are.
Tom Conway. I'm shocked. Tom Conway can play hockey. To have him, I don't know how he's going in the 12th round. There's some depth to this draft.
Considering we went up to 10 teams, which is incredible. The league could keep growing.
I'm sure it is. People are not getting younger.
No. We're all getting older, so I can see eventually there being 2 draft leagues just because the demand is going to be there.
That's it. And then you're going to have like
a younger one over 30 to 40, 40 and over.
Or recreational competitive. You're going to do the same thing, right? Where Drew Doyley goes in the 2nd or 3rd round versus the last in some universe. No, I'm sorry.
Sure, we love you.
Yeah, we love you. We had to say something. We got to get your name here somewhere. That's great stuff. It is a lot of fun. The playoffs for these things are always a mess because upsets left, right, and center.
It's always intense battles. You see these old men out there fighting amongst each other, just going insanely like it's the last day on earth.
But and then they're in the bar drinking, hanging out together.
Yeah, that's the best part about the league. After the game, there's probably about half the guys from each team are in the bar drinking.
That's it. And this is the best
Team
time of
McGee,
year.
the whole
team is there.
They play every game 5:45, and then they're there till 11:30. So
Oh, that's it. And this is the best time of year too, right? When you have the Canadians playing, you got baseball playoffs, and it's like this is the time of year. This is the
it's
best
amazing.
stuff.
This is my favorite league to. I like the whole draft concept. You can trade. It just makes it more fun for everybody, and
It's more interactive, right? There's a lot more.
you get to know a whole bunch of different guys. I mean,
and that's it. Then a guy you play against, you play with. So I find there's less suspension in this league than I think any other league in the entire BHL, just because guys know each other.
yeah. And I run teams, and you get a guy you didn't know, you bring him onto your other teams. These
That's
guys
true.
This is how you're networking. There's a guy, Dom Carrier. I think he plays on like 8 teams.
He is amazing. He spared for me in the D League, and we've been begging him. Dom, if you're watching, play for us. Bruce Moose. He's awesome.
Yeah, that's the guy who you see him. He pops up everywhere. He's another Neil Matrosoni, another guy.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I mean, he's over 30. They've networked themselves out. They like to play ball hockey, and that's.
But
if you're looking to get in a league, and you're over 30, I think this is a league for you, and it just gets you opportunities to play a lot more ball hockey with other guys. And
for me, it's the great gateway drug for the league. You know what I mean? If you're especially if you're over 30, like a lot of guys, like, I'm only one person. I can't make a team. Everyone thinks I have to make a team. Like, no, this is a great opportunity for you not to have a team and to join one without the stress of managing it, right? If you're just an individual, you go in, you pay your money, and then off you go. You get 14 games, I think, is the Masters.
Yeah, we're waiting for you to join.
I'm not good enough. I would have to crack that last round there. I'm not there yet. My brothers are going to join next year. He's looking at 30 years old this summer. So.
Boy, we better raise the limit. It's a bit too fast and good for this.
Yeah, no, but that's it. Like, guys who want to still play with their friends, and they still have their team going. It's more for, like you said.
I mean, I've had a couple of early 30 guys play, and like Krista Forge played one year, but I don't think these kind of guys are ready for.
Oh, that's it.
The old timers,
That's it. I see it. Like, I really see like it's going to be a shifting thing. Like, there's like your generation now who are in there, and the primary candidates. I see my generation coming maybe 5 years from now when it's like me, Staten, just
Mike DeMeglio's not coming to play there.
No, Mike
right now, but
not right now.
5 years.
5 years from now, like me, I'm drafting Mike on a team. He's going to play with his buddies. Me, Staten, Daryl Layton. Those guys are going. That's what we're going to play here. No, it's really exciting. To me, that's my favorite playoff to watch because anyone can win. It's like there's no cap because you don't need one because the draft basically equates everything.
Yeah, it's crazy actually. It's, every year there's a bottom team up in the finals. It doesn't make sense. So.
No, it's awesome.
I'm sure it's going to happen this year.
Oh, I don't doubt it. It's only a matter of it's a matter of who, not if.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's take a quick moment to you do so many leagues. You manage at least Saturday, Sundays. You've managed in the summer a lot. Like you're all over the place. We're about 6 weeks into the season. Give me a sense of like overrated, underrated teams who've surprised the heck out of you, and teams that just haven't really cut mustard this year.
Well, first of all, I'm just going to go by last week's edition for one. Overrated, the mess. I mean, I'm
really?
watching these guys talk, and I'm just laughing. I'm like, oh, what are you guys talking about? We're a team of there's like 2 guys in their 50s. I'm one of the younger guys. You're
one of the younger guys.
We play Monday nights to sit there and watch Monday Night Football afterwards. I mean, we're doing better than expected, but I'd be very shocked if we're in the finals and we won it.
So for those who don't know, who didn't get to see last week's episode, he's referring to Vasil and Chris's accolades, I guess, for you, compliments a bit for Jeff's team, the mess, on playing the I-League on Monday. So we talked about it a bit before. You thought they were a little overgenerous in their compliments.
And I think they're just trying to butter me up. I don't know what they want.
They want to play for you. I think that's what it is.
Both those guys have played for me, and they'd be welcome back anytime. Especially Vasil now at a half point.
Yeah, steal.
But besides from that and that I-League, it's juggernauts. We don't need to talk about them anymore because
that's not a surprise though. I mean, everyone sort of suspected they'd be pretty good, and they've come.
I mean, they even won with Michel in that.
That's Jesus. Yeah.
But I think Clement's team is going to be good. There's a few good teams in that league.
So that's Chef's Finest. Yeah, Chef's Finest could be.
I think we'll be up there, but I think those two teams are the teams in the finals, I think. And as far as the other league I play in the F League, I think it's this Bengals team. We played them last Friday night, and they were 9 or 10 guys, and they just don't stop running. And the skill they have, some of the guys up front, I was looking before the game, I'm like, we're going to kill these guys.
Yeah. No.
Half the time we couldn't touch the ball. Way too fast. The goalie, he's the tiniest little guy. He stopped 35 shots against us.
So that's Karim Bakhtar-Awad. He's evolved to be a fantastic goal. He's not big.
No.
That's the thing.
Yeah, you're looking at the net. You're like, oh, we're going to score all kinds against this guy.
No.
He stopped 35 shots last Friday night.
Well, that's it. I mean, the scouting report on him is you can't go low. He's just too good laterally and down low. He's so quick. You got to go up high. You got to pick those corners. That's the only way to really beat him.
Yeah, we play them again, and I'm hoping to get revenge. We lost 1-0 with 14 seconds left.
Well, so it's a close game. You didn't get walked over, but I mean, and you got 35 shots.
The pace was theirs, though. We're a slower team, and they're just... that's a team... that's my dark horse for the F. And the other team that's surprising me is doing so well is the Chilpa Bangers. I mean... I mean, they're a good team, but they haven't lost yet. They're coming back every game. I saw they scored 2 goals the other night to win the game late. It's just, they get key scoring, and it's not all just Payma. It's
Jonathan Payma. That's the first thing I thought when we said, well, Jonathan Payma, but it's not just him.
Everybody getting the odd goal here and there, and they're a tough team to play against because they're physical, borderline dirty, and
well, that's it. I mean, we get a lot of complaints sometimes. Guys say, "Oh, the team's dirty." It's like, well, again, if you're in the game and the referee's calling it, if a team's dirty, use that to your advantage. You know, like I just find teams derail themselves when they play. They let it get to their heads as opposed to how can I counter this? Like the Punishers of Sanjay played those guys. I would say on paper, Punishers with the Normand brothers, with what's his name, Mike Lip's brother, Steven Lipovich or whatever. Like these guys are very talented hockey players, but you get off track. You know, so Chalupa to be 7-0 though is a shock. I mean, good for them. Like, I'm happy Sean, Sarah, and the boys, but yeah, that's it.
We'll play them in a couple of weeks, and we're top in our division right now, so we'll see how it goes.
That's Sopranos, right? That's it, yeah.
And there's the team, Wasted Robots, they're struggling.
To me, they've struggled a few seasons. I know. Is Shane playing for them, though, or no?
Shane isn't playing.
See, that was their cornerstone piece, like, Shane Renault, but...
They need a full lineup. We played them this week. They had nobody. So with a full lineup, I think if they can get a couple of wins together...
Is Shane Pollard playing for them as well? Or?
Yeah, he wasn't... He's played most of their games.
Okay, so because he's a guy that they need to play. Mark Reyes on the defense is a solid guy, captain of the team as well. They tend to have goaltending issues. I don't know who their goalie is this year.
Joe Foucault. He's played
okay. That's solid. That's solid. But no, but we're trying to find where to put these guys because it doesn't make sense. You look at them on paper, like you should be this good, and then they just seem to underwhelm us a bit in their performance. In the end of the day,
if they can get a roster, they can sneak into the playoffs. I don't think they're done yet. So.
Well, they have access to guys like I know Chris Diabo has played for them in the past. If they could fit him in, get him qualified, there's a guy who can really
exactly. I know they're playing under the cap for sure. So.
Well, that's it. You get a guy like him in there. If I know he just had a kid, so congratulations, Chris. But that's someone who can really change that team's fortunes around, with his scoring abilities for sure.
And then there's a couple other teams I was looking around the divisions in the D League, the Cellerates. I mean, they haven't lost yet. I don't know too much about those guys, but I watched them play a couple of times, and they're another team that seems pretty tenacious.
They are. I mean, the Sandreschi brothers, Laurent's the captain of the team, Laurent Sandreschi, and they are exactly, that's a perfect word for them, they're tenacious. They're just intense, physical, bigger guys too.
Soccer players, it looks like run like the wind.
And that was it. You took the words out of my mouth. They run like the wind. And in that league, you get a mix of guys who are talented, just maybe a bit on the older side. AJ, Spruce Moose, these guys. And when you can run, they get exposed. So yeah, but to have them undefeated though, I think right now, or 5-1, what's the record?
I don't think
close,
6-0-1.
6-0-1, it's a bit shocking. When you got the lads in there, you got some other very good teams in there to see them at that record.
In general, though, if you look at the whole league, it's pretty low scoring. Like the lads have 11 goals in 6 games. I mean, I know a lot of their players. They have a lot of good offensive players. So it must be a really tight division when they have that many goals.
It is, and I played. We played Trailer Park Boys last weekend, and David Como, Eric Larson, those guys are just. And even Greg Drache had a great game that game. Ryan Atkinson has to play well, but I think that's the team that I think has really had the best chance to win that league.
That's another solid team that Eric Larson, who took over the team, knows what he's doing.
Yes, he knows exactly what he's
Got
doing.
a lot of good players there.
And he's got to stop hitting me with the ball. Like, I somehow find myself blocking Eric Larson's shots. It's not fun. It's really not.
That's another guy I got on my team because I didn't like him shooting the ball on me.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a cannon. I'm like, why, Eric? Just stop. Just go wide, But he sees the net, and that's all he sees, and he's just like laser beams at the net. And they got Mike Brisson too, who's a fantastic player.
That could be them Celebrate the finals in that.
If I had to predict, I'd go for them for sure.
But I think you never count out the lads. You just got to find someone to put the ball in the net, it appears. So.
And I don't know Phil Metch's story. He injured himself in the summer. I don't think he's been back yet. If he comes back, it's a huge puzzle piece for that team.
And Spruce Moose, they need a roster.
We're working on it. We're recruiting guys. Hey guys, you want to play in the D League? Give me
What a disaster.
Reach out to me, Mike. Yeah,
you're a disaster.
He tries hard. But last game we played Trailer Park Boys with one sub. I mean, we're not winning that game. Our goalie stood on his head. But Jimmy Gallinopoulos played unfreaking believable. But you can't with 7 guys in the second period. We were just annihilated.
And a couple more teams in the B, maybe. I'm surprised that Fuel are 1-5. I mean, there's
Greg Kelly, Nets, Troy Ryan, Julio Carrera.
There's so many good players on that team. Spurting in nets, on D, up front. Don't know if it's attendance problems.
Well, the big question is do they have room for Ali Naruzi? You know what I mean? Like, I heard he's back now. I heard his injuries.
They're capped with like 6 guys.
They are, right? Okay, yeah. Well, they got the Joey D'Amico.
Joey. I mean, they have all kinds of good players. So I think if they can find some unranked players to go with it, and maybe it's a tough call in those.
They're
days.
a playoff
I just don't
team.
get why they're 1-5.
They really. I mean, it's a bad medicine derivative. It's when they find themselves in the playoffs. That's when they really, really, really show up. And if they can make it, they're battling my team, the VIPs, for that last spot. Hopefully they can't achieve it, but if they do, I would say that's a sneaky dark horse for the playoffs.
They need to have a little more back checking too, though.
We know that
seems to be a big problem. They're relying too much on Greg to make all the
saves.
That's it. You see 3 guys sitting at center.
That's it, exactly. It's not going to cut it.
It's a good recipe in the B.
No.
And Barracuda's number 1. That's a surprise.
We lost to them 3-1 in our previous game, and we were shocked. We're like, we should have beat this team.
I mean, Sonny Patel, he's
playing great.
You, after the first shot, the guy doesn't give up anything.
No.
Every game I've seen, the first shot seems to go in the net, but after that, the guy's like a wall.
Yeah. No,
and good veterans on that team too, so I'm surprised they're number 1.
And well, they got some. They got Pat O'Neill, Alex Haddad, Jimmy Surratt, and they're being complemented with like Frank Dalphon, Dave Doucette, Darren Hill.
Even Dave Goldfarb.
I hate playing against Dave.
Big agitator,
but he plays hard. You know what I mean? I respect a guy who plays hard. He's not too dirty. You know what I mean? Like, he's physical, yes, but he's not a too big of a pain. But he's good. He's effective at what he does. You know, and their defense can hold you down a bit. You know, they got AL. He's fantastic. So
they got a nice mix of veterans and
youth.
Just figured with the age they'd be a middle of the pack, but so far.
But they've complemented with some very, very effective young players. That's what they've done well.
And VIPs, that's a team that has a lot of talent there too. Could turn around. That B division really looks up for grabs to me. Even Fuel.
It is. We've not lost a game and say we got completely outplayed. The one team I would say that I'm most concerned with in terms of like being able to beat is Team Greece. To be honest with you, all athletic guys. These guys go to World Championships, right? So they've played an hour and a half games. Their cardio is excellent. If we don't have our full bench against them, we're dead. And John Vredis and Nets.
Yeah, it's these A and B leagues. They just seem, if you don't have your full roster, it just seems
don't bother.
It's a disaster because that's what's happened in both A and B leagues. I saw Team Greece get destroyed last week by GK.
It was a GK or Down to Puck? I thought they lost 9-2 to Down to Puck.
Down to Puck, yeah. And, I mean, he had like 7-8 guys.
Yeah, you
can't play an A team with 7-8 guys. You need your full bench, and I think. And that B, if that's anybody's division, I think Team Greece probably the favorite.
I would say the favorite, but yes.
But scoring is not an easy thing for them either. They don't have pure goal scorers.
They don't have pure goal scorers.
They have a lot of grit. It's another antagonizing team because they work hard,
They work hard. I mean, with a team like that, we're just trying to slow it down. We're not trying to play fancy. You know, I mean, it's not the most fun game to play because you're playing more defensively, but you don't have a choice. Otherwise, you're going to get exposed. The 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, they're going to put something in eventually. So. Yeah.
So it should be fun.
Should be fun.
A lot of good leagues going.
Yeah, it's really tight.
It seems, and
yeah, no, it's exciting. It's always fun to see it. You know, we're at the midway point now. Things are starting to like sort of crystallize in terms of where teams are ending up. But anything can change. There's still a lot of games left.
of all the divisions I've looked at, I haven't said for sure there's one team that's going to win it. So that's a good thing.
It's a good thing. No, exactly. There's no runaway clear winners. Even though records are 7-0, Chalupa Bangers can get beaten, for example.
No, that's it. The biggest favorite I can see
Juggernaut.
right now is Juggernauts, and in the lower mixed league is the Racks and Sacks.
Yeah.
Besides that, I think any division is up for grabs.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff.
But those teams better win this year because you know you're going to get capped next year.
Yeah, exactly. You can only last so long with the watchful eye of the cap system. Well, Jeff, thank you very, very much. It's always a pleasure to have you on here. Any last words, thoughts for the last seconds here?
Just thanks for having me again, Sean, and I'll be back again when we've got something interesting to talk about, and maybe I get one of these other guys I can harass when they're all afraid to come on.
That's it, exactly. No one would come. They say, Jeff's coming on, I'm not going in that Firestorm. So even Darren took his chances away from
exactly.
me.
Both times I've been on, he's been,
absent.
Yes.
Well, thanks again, bud, and looking forward to have you back on the show in the near future.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, take care, bud.
Bye.